Thanks for stopping by, guys, and welcome back to Scrap Mechanic. Today we're going to be looking at this little guy. This is the new micro flight computer. Now, if you're familiar with my flight computer series, this is the latest adaptation, intending to make it pretty much as small as possible and easy as possible to use for a lot of people. The larger flight computers, while they do have more features, were a bit bulky for most builds and were a bit difficult to use for a lot of people. So this is my attempt to fix that, and today we're going to be looking at it, how to set it up, and one of the builds that I've already made using it. So without further ado, let's get started. So if you're not familiar with the flight computer project, there are a few main things going on here. First, we have the gyro, which uses a stabilization glitch to see how the vehicle is tilting. Then we have a vertical motion sensor, which is this big chunk of metal. This detects if the vehicle is rising or falling. And then we have the inputs from the player. All of these are put into some logic here built around the vehicle, and that will actually control controllers. Those controllers then set the angle of your thrusters to give you variable thrust, variable lift, and to basically fly the vehicle for you. So let's go ahead and throw on a seat. Let's get a first set of thrusters. Oop, I accidentally painted the wrong thing. Now you want pairs of thrusters, two thrusters pointed in the opposite direction for this to work. In my old flight computers, my main flight computers, they had 8 possible thruster clusters. This one only has 3. Has front, back, and middle. So this is set up so if you want to use it as a helicopter, you can. But for now, we're going to set up just 2 clusters, front and back, which also means that the vehicle needs to be symmetrical. Now let's go ahead and throw on the rear ones. So there we go. We now have through 2 sets of thrusters, thruster clusters, and front and back. Now to hook these up, there are 3 controllers that are painted white. One is here, one is on top, and one is on this side. The little angles will tell you which one it is. This is for the front. So let's go ahead and hook these up to the controllers. And let's make sure that blue, did I connect that properly? Yes, I did. Let's make sure that blue points these down. There we go. And then the other side, you can see that this angle says this is the back controller. Hook these up. And if we had a middle thruster or like a helicopter rotor, it would use this controller. So let's go ahead and set these angles. We want it to be able to go 90 degrees, but instead of just going 90 degrees like this, we want to space it out in 15-degree increments. This will make it a little bit slower and will help it control better. And for any reason that you do have this set to somewhere else, it does need to be set to slow and do not repeat. So let's go ahead and go to the other side. Need 6 clusters of 15 to make 90. There we go. And now we actually need to hook it up to fly. Everything should be ready to go. I need to make sure that both of these are pointed down. Forgot to do that. There we go. Let's hook up all of our controls. Now you can hook the thrusters themselves straight to the switch, or there is also an OR gate here that can be used. And let's go ahead and set up the flight controls. The buttons we want are the ones on top. The ones on the bottom are set up for secondary thrusts so that you don't have to mess with the computer too much. I'm not going to be using them for this build, and it's more similar to my classic building style for my flight computers. So 1, 2, and 3. This is lower your thrust, this is raise your thrust, and this is start the whole system. And I think the last thing we need to do is get some forward thrust going, which we can hook straight to the seat. Get some rotation, which is actually built in using a suspension glitch. And she's ready to fly. So 3 to power it on, 2 to lift it up. And it's going to take us a minute to get off the ground because these are very weak thrusters. But we do have rotation, we do have forward movement. And now we're going to take a look at this guy. This is something that I have already built with the flight computer, and it's kind of just been hovering there this whole time. So let's go ahead and... I went a little bit too high on the thrust. Oh, turn the system off, wrong button. See if we can get up over here. I do not have a reverse on this guy, so I might just smack into this. Let's see if we can make this jump. Let's get a little bit better angle here. Come on, there we go. Alley-oop. Yeah, there we go. And we're in the main vehicle. This is known as the Med Transport vehicle, or the Med Transport spaceship. I do plan to change that in the near future once I do some more detail work, but I just kind of wanted to show off what this little flight computer is capable of. Now the flight computer itself is up here in the ceiling, so it is kind of in the way still, but you still have enough room to actually move around inside this little craft. You've got 6 seats for passengers. You could probably add more over here if I wanted to. You just can crawl around here and get into the pilot seat and fly off. And the old flight computer that we were just using will just stay there in the air as well. So they kind of auto-correct themselves when flying, they will auto-hover, and they will automatically adapt to changes in weight. So pretty much as long as the vehicle is symmetrical, like this is, it can adapt to front and back weight changes as you're building. And like I said, the older flight computers are a bit more powerful, however, they're a much more bulkier, so it's a bit of a trade-off. But let's go ahead and land this guy on our little landing pad we found over here. Let's go ahead and start lowering it. And we're almost there. So, hopefully you guys did enjoy this little look at the micro flight computer. I will be preparing it for the workshop here shortly, and it'll be up there if you ever want to use it for any of your builds, and pretty much to make some really easy and quick flyers with a hovering ability. So, unfortunately, I am going to have to end this episode here. If you guys did enjoy, please leave a like. If you have any suggestions, leave them in the comments down below. Enjoy the channel, enjoy what I'm doing. Please subscribe, it helps out a lot. And right now, shares help the channel the most. So if you do want to help the channel, please share this episode with a friend. Thanks for stopping by, thanks for sticking around, and until next time, peace.